another Tuesday night in the year 2025, and you all know what that means. It means we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, www.weLikeSportsPC.com proudly presents to you its podcast Tag Team Champions of the World, the Cleek Mike Valentine, Gabriel Babyface over here in the corner, and we are the 643 and out guys, and you're listening to The Sports Truth. Gabriel, how you been, buddy? Haven't seen you in a week, man. How's it going?
Michael, every now and then things line up, and I'll just say I think the podcasting, entities that be said, Michael, Gabriel, we're gonna throw a lot at you today. Good luck.
Oh yeah, buddy. We are going to do a lot today. You are 100% right, and I can't wait to get everything started. In fact, let me break a couple of things on my desk here. Let me get that. Look at that. Snap that sucker right in half. All right, we're starting to show off great. So, before we get too far in it, though, because we need to push all this forward, we got a lot to get to. So let's do the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now.
Already got comments coming in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time.
Oh, Gabriel, I tell you what, buddy, I am psyched. I am ready to go. We are going to do all kinds of stuff today. The football NFL schedule comes out tomorrow. Big thing. They're dragging this thing out. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to go through and ask several questions. We got Dallas from Sons of Star podcast. He will be on with us shortly, and we're going to get everything rocking and rolling with that. Asking a ton of questions. We even have a couple of our Twitter poll questions up. We'll get to those as well. And then we're going to transport a little bit here. Already got comments coming in. Got 3 of them already in here. All right. So we're going to go from that to Major League Baseball. And then we're going to go back to football. But wait, let me explain. Today is National 513 Day because it is January, February, April, March. It is May 13th. 5. We do it in the air. 513. That's the area code of Cincinnati, Ohio. So we're going to go a little Cincinnati deep on our second hour of the show, talking about Trey Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals and everything that's going on there. And then we're going to really focus our attention in on the guy who is now eligible to be elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And that, ladies and gentlemen, one Mr. Peter Edwin Rose. So all kinds of stuff going today. Music in the background sounds pretty good. Gabriel on the side. Dallas down below. He'll be on the screen with us in just a second. And we will be set and ready to go. All right. Got all that stuff cranking right along. Let's not waste a whole lot of time, Gabriel. How about I like the Spurs ad. You went with that one today, huh?
Yes, in case we talk about a certain league.
We might a little bit, but we got a lot of other stuff to get to. So I don't know, maybe not. We'll see here. We're already NFL schedule time. Let's all look at that using the little calendar thing up there for us. Oh, I couldn't do that. I tell you that
It's
right
very
now.
fancy. Very fancy.
Very, very fancy. We're saying, Gabe hates London games. I don't know. Do you, buddy? Do you hate London games?
Wait, no, I love a culture that's based around drinking. Why would I hate London games?
Of course you do. And now let me get this one in real quick before we bring Dallas up, because I think Dallas will like this one. Oh, Cowboys, America's team. We may have to ask him when he gets up here. But I tell you what, without further ado, let's bring him up. Here he comes. The this dad of the Sons of Star podcast. Here he is, Dallas. Hey, here you
What's
go, bud.
up?
How you doing, man?
Hey, thanks for having me, boys. Pleasure to be on the show today. I'm excited to talk some NFL schedule. I heard there's some Cubs questions in there as well, so I like it. Yeah, starting off how Cowboys America's team. That sounds a little sarcastic to me. It's usually what that is. So I guess I mean they still are, whether you like it or not, the most profitable sports franchise in the world. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess America's teams always up and down, but sure, I guess we can call them that. I'm just trying
All
to
right.
see them win some damn playoff games. I don't care if they're America's team, London's team, Brazil's team. That's all I want. But anyway,
I got it. I got it.
thanks for
So,
having
Dallas,
me.
I'm gonna get specific with you for just a minute. Let's introduce you a little bit here and ask you a couple questions. All right. So,
Yeah.
how'd you become a Dallas Cowboys fan, Dallas?
Oh man. I post this podcast. I host the podcast with my father. We call him Cowboy Reg, absolute Cowboys legend. Grew up outside Chicago, but yeah, he's obviously diehard profitable like Walmart. Hey, yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
this is gonna be a fun show. I can tell
so he
already.
brought me into it. Yeah, he brought me into this Cowboys misery at a very young age, and that's all I knew. So I was just kind of raised on it.
I got you. I got you. So, you also, if we get to the baseball questions here, which I hope we do, you're also a big Cubs fan. So, how'd you go from Dallas Cowboys to Chicago Cubs? How'd that happen?
Well, like I said, I grew up close to Chicago, Chicagoland, in Indiana, so about an hour outside Chicago. So I went
Okay.
to Chicago sports games growing up. Obviously, not going to be a Sox fan, worst team in the history of sports. Um, but yeah, I grew up going to Cubs games. Love the Cubs, love the Bulls. I don't dislike the Bears. There's just really nothing there for me to even really care about. But I actually grew up in a time where they were good. The Colts were good. Obviously, the Packers are always good. So that's really where I grew up, where the teams were the most popular teams there. So there's a few Cowboys fans in my hometown, but not many. So it was a pretty brutal childhood, I'll be honest. Going through, they were awful. The beginning of my childhood. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl the year I was born, and then after that, we haven't won anything since. But yeah,
You're
other
getting
than
your
that,
age
I love
there, buddy.
Chicago sports. But yeah,
All right. All right.
I'm the curse.
So, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here just to get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll have Gabriel come in with us too, and we're all going to start doing this thing with the NFL schedule here. So, how about this? I want to ask you, to me at least, especially with this NFL schedule, the NFL has talked a lot about the Eagles and the Eagles games and everything else, right? So, I think the Eagles are now the NFL's favorite NFC East team. Are you okay with that? Are
Sure.
you jealous? Or do they deserve it? Talk to me a little bit, Dallas.
I don't care. I mean, they could be the most popular team. You can hype them up all you want. You still won't go to Philly for a game, that's for sure. So they may call them that. Philly's great if you keep your distance, but yeah, it always looks glorious on TV. It's like, these fans are so much fun. Yeah, they're passionate, blah blah blah, till you're getting stabbed in the parking lot. Um, they're just not good people at the end of the day. None of them are. They're all scumbags up there. And if they want to, put them up on a pedestal, I say let them. But yeah, it is weird how they've changed. All of a sudden now it's like cool to be an Eagles fan. So good on you. I guess it's cool to be a scumbag.
Okay. Why don't you tell us how you really feel, buddy? We're
Yeah, I
chopping that up,
will.
putting that out there. I can tell you that right now. So do you think the Packers and the Lions have also passed the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC as far as like popularity to the NFL?
Yeah, again, you Packers, I would say, were always there. They seem to have great nationwide fandom in Green Bay. I always thought that was really interesting. It was such a small market in that area, but they've really become so successful. They were, you got Lombardi and all the history there. The Lions, again, they're just the sweethearts because most of us are growing up and even generations and generations, we always remember the Lions sucking. And now they're, I guess, good. Very unfortunate what happened to the Lions last year with the injury, the injury bug. I mean, they didn't have anyone on defense, especially. So, Yeah, and you see that with the Niners. They had a down year, obviously, but I'm sure they'll be back, and people love to, they're pretty popular in the NFL. You know, they're always going to be in the media. Jerry does a really good job with that. They're always going to be promoting the brand really well. And when you turn on ESPN, they're going to find their way to talk about the Cowboys, and most mainstream media will continue to push all these Cowboys narratives. But I have a feeling that maybe someone in the organization is trying to push them away from that a little bit. I think with the head coaching hire and some of the things they're doing in the draft and kind of behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of guys go to Dallas and they build their personal brand really well, and the star really props them up. So I think that'll always continue. But
All
but
right.
yeah,
So
we'll see. I'll be interested to see in 20, 30 years how the Cowboys do when it comes to national media. But I would assume as long as I'm alive, it'll always be the same until I'm proven otherwise.
all right, sounds good. So, last question that I'm going to ask you specifically about the Cowboys, Gabriel. I'm going to actually ask you first, and then I'm going to get Dallas's opinion on it. Then we're going to jump into this whole NFL schedule release deal here. So, I don't know if you guys saw it, but earlier today, um, Dallas's good friend, and I'm sure he's talked to him several times. Troy Aikman was on Good Morning America this morning, and he picked the Dallas Cowboys, saying that they were going to win the Super Bowl. So here's what I'd like for you to find out, Gabriel. I'd like for you to answer me first. Would you rather ex-players like that, whether it be your team, Dallas's team, whatever it is, do you like it when they come on and they're all cocky on shows and talk smack, or would you rather them just shut their mouths and go on with their lives?
No, talk your piece. Say whatever you want. If Buddy thinks his Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl, let him say it. It'll be that much more glorious when they struggle to even approach 500. So I go ahead, Troy. Be as delusional as you want.
Uh, uh, no fight. Okay, I mean, I know you guys are clear across the country
Oh,
from
that's all
each
right.
other, but no fighting on here. Dallas, what do you think, man? You think people like that? It's your guy, Troy Aikman. Would you rather him not talk at all and just shut his mouth, or do you like it when they get on there and take it for your team?
Yeah, that's weird coming from Troy Aikman, if I'm being honest. I always thought he was a huge critic of the Dallas Cowboys in the media, especially when he's calling a game. Um, I'm not, I mean, look, I never got to watch him play live, so I could really, this is going to sound really bad. I don't really care for Troy Aikman, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's always, you know, he he's always been very critical of the Dallas Cowboys, and I've always thought, if you're going to be that critical, why don't you step in and try and help the organization? Why don't you step in and try to mentor some of the quarterbacks? You see Michael Irvin do that with the wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
I just always thought, Troy was a national media guy, and that's what he turned into. He did a lot of great things with Dallas Cowboys, considered one, if not the best Dallas Cowboys quarterback ever. Um, but I always thought he was very critical of the Cowboys. So it's interesting to hear him say that. I don't take much stock in it. And it's interesting to say it this year because I don't think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be that great this year.
And now I will have to say, I kind of said this tongue in cheek just to get everybody's opinion on it real fast, but Michael Strahan was right beside of him when he said it. So it could have been more of a tongue in cheek thing from Troy Aikman, too, just because, he's browsing, he's rubbing Strahan the wrong way there on purpose. So that could have been it as well. But let's get into this NFL schedule thing. So the NFL schedule will actually be revealed in its entirety tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time on the NFL Network. So Dallas, I'm going to ask you first, on a scale of 1 to 10, where does your excitement land as far as the actual reveal of all the NFL games coming up, all 272 of them tomorrow?
Oh man, they're really dragging this thing out, and I find it a little annoying. I mean, I don't remember it ever being such a big deal. I know they kind of did this in last year. I don't know how they used to do it in the past when I was growing up, but they just it's become too much of a big of a deal. Like they're revealing some games. You got 26 networks you got to watch the games on. They're all doing their own little reveal show. Just release the damn schedule already. I mean, it's just you already know what teams you're playing, but the schedule matters. Don't get me wrong. I think it matters a ton. The order in which you play good teams, where your bye week is, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, just release the damn thing. Don't make it this big spectacle. We don't care. We just had the draft. What else? What else do we need to watch? Just release it.
Well, we talked about it off air a little bit. This is just another way for the NFL to make money, right? Just another way for the NFL to be on every talk show like we're doing right now. This is it's
Yeah.
the machine of the NFL. So Gabriel, what do you think? Where's your excitement level at for tomorrow night, 1 to 10? Where are you at, Gabriel?
Yeah, so I could be somewhat anticipatory of it, I suppose, to this saga ending, because that's what it is now, a saga. At the same time, it's something that we'll do, and I'll be happy to do it. It's something I certainly do on my own platform. But it is silly to go in. What are we in? I had to look at what month we're in. We're in May, and to kind of go line by line. Okay, this one's going to be a win. This one's going to be a loss. This one's going to be a win. We have no idea how the teams are going to look. We have no idea what last moment injuries are going to happen. So to sit here now and start penciling in wins in October, like it's fun. It's fun. It's part of what we do. It's the media machine and all that you have. But at the end of the day, it's not too terribly relevant.
Okay, so the NFL scheduling formula has 5 basic rules to determine games. So the first rule is this: 6 of the 17 games are home and away against your division foes. 4 more of those 17 games are 4 teams from another division that's within your conference, and you do 2 home and 2 away, and that rotates every 3 years. Not to get too deep into it, but I do want to explain how all this works so we can go through and dissect it. And then 4 more of these 17 are teams play 4 teams from another division in the opposite conference, and they do it also 2 home and 2 away, and that rotates every 4 years. So as far as those 3, the first 3 of the 5 rules, Gabriel, do you think this is a fair way to make the schedule, or would you like to see it done some other way?
No, I'm okay with it. I very much am. It's one of the things that I love college football, as you know. It's one of the things I don't like about college football is the uneven scheduling. Yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous when a certain team is able to schedule Mercer in November. I think it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm very much okay with this and the divisional aspect. That being said, if you're in a certain, let's just throw out a garbage division out there, NFC South. If you're in the NFC South, just because you happen to win that atrocious division, doesn't mean you should host a football game. Come the playoffs.
I understand that, but that's also the nature of sports, right? So Dallas, I'm going to go down to you for a second. What about how the NFL schedules the first 14 games? Are you okay with it? Is it fair? Would you like to see something changed? Talk to us a second here, Dallas.
Yeah, I like it. I like going to the different divisions. And I think it makes it fun for the most part because you get to play, all the teams, and each division for the most part has like an identity, in my opinion. Like last year, the Cowboys, I remember playing the AFC North, which I knew was going to be brutal, right? So it makes it interesting that way because they all play a similar brand of football. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so I don't mind it. It's good. I think it's fair. They rotate it every now and then. Um, it's luck of the draw. These divisions are going to be up and down, and you can really see how your team stacks up against some of the best divisions in the league. And if you're lucky, you get to play, like Gabriel said, the AFC South, and you're like, all right, now we can get some wins. But yeah, it's interesting. I would like to see some things change with the schedule, but not necessarily that. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we're just getting started, right? Well, I'm sure we'll get some things that we want to change here before it's all said and done. 50 viewers, by the way, with us live right now, so we certainly appreciate that. We'll take another look at some other stuff here as well. So we've got the first 14 games. 2 of those 17 games are intra-conference games based on last year's standing. So in other words, when you play another team, so it's intra-conference games. That means from another division, but within your conference. The first place team in your division is going to play the first place team in the other division, and the second place against the second, and the third against the third, and so on and so forth. And then that final game of the 17 is one inter-conference game, so outside of your division, based on last year's standings. And they rotate. So the odd years, the AFC hosts, and the even years, the NFC is the host. So as far as home and away. So that's how they get all 17 games. So do you think that whoever hosts that last game, that's not really the last game, but one of those 17 games, do you think that's a big advantage for that team hosting that one out of the 17 games, Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, it usually is. Generally, teams, this is groundbreaking stuff I'm about to say, but generally teams play better at home. But I think it depends. Depends when the game is and where. I know, bravo, right? Uh,
Yeah, that was
wisdom
good,
from a
buddy.
Cowboys fan. Yeah.
Riveting stuff there,
But
sir.
it depends where you're at. It depends where you're at. If you're a team from your division, let's say the Jaguars, right? Something like that, then that's a huge advantage. Yeah, absolutely. So it depends what time of year it is. But the same thing goes for northern teams going down south, right? So if you got to play in Tampa Bay or you got to play in Jacksonville or something in August or September, it's going to be the same way with the weather. So I think it always depends. But like I said, yeah, it's definitely an advantage, but not that's not always the case. The Cowboys played awful at home last year. They had that huge streak. They won like 16 games, and their home record last year was terrible. So it wasn't really an advantage for them. So sometimes teams, like I said, crazy stuff. But sometimes it's good, like if you're the Cowboys, to get away from all the hype and the nonsense, is go on the road. And a lot of teams are more focused on the road than they are at home. They got distractions. They're staying at their houses instead of a hotel with their teammates. So there's all kinds of factors to consider. But overall, to answer your question, I would say it's an advantage as long as you play well at home.
So, Gabriel, would you agree with Dallas that it's an advantage to host that 17th game?
Yeah, I like what Dallas is saying. I'm going to roughly paraphrase what you just said here, Dallas. It could be an advantage in most cases, yeah, but it's certainly even. It's an even application of the same rule. And listen, some teams play better on the road, and that could be for a bunch of reasons. More importantly, some teams just want to not play at home. The New York teams, they can use a break from the New York media at a certain time, and certainly what Dallas just said about his Cowboys. They just weren't playing well in Arlington, and they found some success on the road. I'll also just say it kind of depends where you are at that point. It'll depend too what you're chasing and how the other teams are. Uh, let's say, and now this is just again me. I'm going to say a random team. Let's say that you're not the one hosting, but you get to travel to the Panthers. I think you'll take that. I think you'll absolutely take
Yeah,
that.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess it can be. I mean, I think we all say it's an advantage, but here we go. Breaking news. And what's the breaking news? Oh, teams play better at home. Huh.
Hey,
appreciate it,
you,
Okay.
Ricky.
you have to credit Dallas. You have to credit
Right.
Dallas, Ricky.
Right. At least people agree with you, buddy. I mean, I've said some
Yeah,
hard
hey,
things.
I'm
I've
not
taken the
lying.
bad from
I'm
people.
not coming on here to lie. I'm trying to tell you how it is.
All right, gentlemen. So Gabriel, I'm going to go up top, start with you here for a second. Do you think the NFL should just be done and just go to an 18-team schedule already? Why are we doing this odd thing right at the moment?
It is, yeah. That's the thing that I think is why are we still in this middle ground? I don't know. Yeah, we all know what's coming. Just like in college basketball, we know that there's about to be a 526 team March Madness tournament. We all know that that's coming. So I don't know. I guess they're trying to ease us into it, quote unquote. Just get it done, Mr. Goodell.
Right? Dallas, how about you, man? You like 17, or you just want to be done with it and go to 18?
Man, this the reason I love football, like what Gabriel said earlier. College football to me is so much more interesting week to week because you only have 12 games, right? And then obviously they're adding more and more in now, and they're kind of going the same way as the NFL. But to me, football is better when there's less games. I like 16. I didn't like the move to 17, but I think there's ways that you could adjust the schedule with 18 games to make it better. But at the end of the day, when does it stop? That's my thing. Is like it's always great, the expansion, blah blah blah. It's like the college football playoff. We finally got what we wanted, and now it's like, well, we got to make it bigger. Like, when does it end, man? So you gotta draw the line in the sand at some point, and they're gonna have the NFL's gonna have to figure that out of that perfect formula of obviously right now the strategy is the more games we play and the more countries we play them, we're going to expand the market, we're going to make money. But I think at some point you oversaturate it and then you need to shrink it back down because you lose interest, right? I mean, I love baseball. I mean, 162 games, that's too many damn games, man. I don't care what you're playing, right? That's too many. 162 times is too many times to do any activity, really. That's a lot. Um, and I'm there. I try to watch as many Cubs games as humanly possible, but 162, man, there's no way I'm going to watch all those games. So, not saying the NFL is going to go to that, but even some of the other leagues, I think, they're floating with these ideas like, should we? I don't think the players want to do it. So, are they going to be interested for 18 weeks? Are the games going to matter as much week to week? They're likely not. So they're going to have to figure that out. But I think it's weird to have an odd number. So I can't think of another sports